The discovery. Dr. Rahul Patel stared at the holographic display, his eyes burning from hours of unblinking observation. The specimen floating before him defied everything he thought he knew about viral evolution. The sample, extracted from a crystalline structure found in the Martian ice caps, pulsed with an otherworldly energy that seemed almost intelligent. Dr. Patel, you need to see this. Dr. Hannah Reeves, his assistant, burst into the containment lab, her tablet displaying a cascade of alarming data. The viral structure, it's changing. Rahul zoomed in on the hologram, watching as the virus particles reorganized themselves in response to the quantum scanner's energy field. After 15 years as Earth's leading xenovirologist, he thought he'd seen everything. He was wrong. "Get me a secure line to Director Zhao," he said, his voice steady despite the tremor of excitement and fear running through his body. "And Hannah, initiate full containment protocols." Within hours, the International Space Research Center's crisis room was filled with the world's top scientists, all connected virtually from their respective facilities. Director Li Zhao's weathered face dominated the main screen, her expression grave as Rahul presented his findings. "The virus we discovered in the Martian ice caps isn't just ancient, it's engineered," Rahul explained, sharing his latest analysis. "Its structure suggests an origin approximately 65 million years ago, but its complexity, nothing natural could have evolved this way." "Are you suggesting alien origin?" Dr. Dmitry Volkov, the center's chief archaeologist, leaned forward in his chair. "I'm suggesting something far more concerning," Rahul replied, bringing up a new set of data streams. "This virus was designed to activate under specific conditions we've just met with our recent quantum drive tests." The room fell silent. Humanity had achieved quantum space flight capabilities just 3 months ago, a breakthrough that promised to revolutionize space travel. Now, that achievement carried a darker significance. "There's more," Hannah added, her voice tight with concern. "We've detected similar viral signatures in every test site where we've activated the quantum drives. It's as if the virus was waiting for us to reach this technological threshold," Rahul finished. "And now it's awakening." Director Zhao's image flickered as she processed this information. "Containment options?" "That's the problem," Rahul said, pulling up another hologram. "The virus exhibits quantum entanglement properties. Once activated, it exists simultaneously wherever quantum drives have been used. Traditional containment is impossible." The crisis room erupted in worried murmurs. Earth had testing sites across the solar system, if the virus was present in all of them. A sudden alert cut through the chaos. Hannah's tablet blared with incoming data, her face paling as she read the stream. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures entering the solar system. Multiple objects, using technology we've never seen before." Rahul rushed to the main display, his heart pounding as the readings confirmed his worst fears. "They're ships," he breathed. "Alien vessels, dozens of them, approaching Earth at speeds we thought impossible." "Hostile?" Director Zhao's question hung in the air. "No," Rahul said, studying the erratic flight patterns. "They're running from something. And given what we've just discovered..." He let the implication hang in the air. The room's atmosphere grew heavier as the reality of their situation sank in. They weren't just dealing with a potential pandemic, they were about to have first contact in the middle of what could be a galactic crisis. "Dr. Patel," Director Zhao's voice cut through his thoughts, "you're now heading Project Immunity. Whatever these aliens are running from, I suspect it's connected to your discovery. Find out what we're dealing with, and fast." As the emergency protocols activated around him, Rahul couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was about to face its greatest challenge. The virus they discovered wasn't just a threat, it was a key to understanding their place in the galaxy. And somehow, he knew, Earth's response to this crisis would define our species' future among the stars. The approaching alien ships grew larger on the monitoring screens, their designs unlike anything human eyes had ever seen. In the containment lab below, the viral samples continued their mesmerizing dance, rearranging themselves in patterns that seemed to mock their observers' understanding of natural law. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries. Now it was happening, not with a carefully planned greeting or diplomatic exchange, but in the midst of what appeared to be a galactic pandemic. As Rahul prepared his team for the challenges ahead, one question burned in his mind: why had this virus waited millions of years, only to activate now? The answer, he suspected, would either doom humanity or reveal something extraordinary about our species' place in the cosmic order. Either way, the next few days would change human history forever. First contact in crisis. Ambassador Nixis of the Cephalon Collective felt her crystalline form trembling as their ship entered Earth's atmosphere. The last surviving members of 7 different species crowded the vessel's bridge, their varied anatomies testament to the incredible diversity of galactic life. Soon, most of that diversity would be gone forever. Atmospheric entry in 30 seconds, announced Terraform, their ship's AI. Warning, structural integrity at 60%. Biological degradation of crew approaching critical levels. Nixis watched through multiple sensory arrays as her own crystalline structure began to fragment. The virus had already begun its work, breaking down the quantum bonds that held her consciousness together. They had maybe hours left, if they were lucky. Earth Defense Station hailing, Terraform reported. They're demanding identification. Show them, Nixis commanded, her voice resonating through her rapidly deteriorating crystal matrix. The ship's external cameras activated, broadcasting images of their vessel's desperate cargo, the dying representatives of dozens of civilizations. On Earth's orbital defense station, Colonel Jasmine Powell watched the incoming transmission with a mixture of horror and fascination. The images showed creatures out of humanity's wildest dreams, all clearly in various states of biological crisis. "Get me Dr. Patel from the ISRC," she ordered, never taking her eyes off the alien vessel. "And someone find out why our translation software is picking up their communications so clearly. They're broadcasting in all known languages simultaneously," her communications officer reported. "It's like they were prepared for this." The alien ship's next transmission confirmed that theory. "People of Earth," a crystalline being appeared on their main screen, its form catching light like a diamond prism, "we come seeking sanctuary. We are the last survivors of the Galactic Council, and we carry a warning." Dr. Patel's face appeared on a secondary screen, his eyes widening at the sight of the alien ambassador. "Colonel Powell, those crystal formations, they match the structure of our viral samples perfectly." "We know about the virus," Powell responded to the alien transmission. "We've detected it in our solar system." "Then you know why we're here," Nixis replied, her form flickering. 37 spacefaring civilizations have fallen in the past standard week. We detected no viral effect on your planet despite its presence here. You are immune. The orbital station's medical officer, Dr. Samira Hassan, stepped forward. "Permission to bring them aboard for immediate medical assistance?" Powell hesitated only a moment before nodding. "Initiate emergency quarantine protocols. Not for our protection, for theirs." As the alien ship docked with the station, Powell watched Dr. Patel's expression grow increasingly concerned. "Doctor? Something you want to share?" "The virus," he said, pulling up data on his tablet. "Its structure, it's not just similar to the ambassador's crystalline form. It's identical. Whatever this thing is, it's not just killing these species, it's using their own biology against them." The docking bay doors opened, revealing the desperate remnants of galactic civilization. Beings of pure energy contained in failing containment suits, crystalline entities like Nixis slowly crumbling, biomechanical creatures whose organic components were literally dissolving. "Welcome to Earth," Powell said, stepping forward to meet history. "Let's get you all to medical immediately." In the station's hastily converted medical bay, Dr. Hassan worked alongside her team to stabilize their alien patients. Each species required completely different treatment approaches, making their task nearly impossible. Their biological structures are amazing, Hassan reported to Powell and Patel. Each species represents an entirely different approach to life itself. The virus somehow adapts to attack each one specifically. Except humans, Nixis added weakly from her containment field. Your bodies, they're like nothing we've ever seen. The virus tries to attack you, but your cells, they destroy it instantly. Dr. Patel leaned closer to the ambassador's containment field. You said 37 civilizations have fallen. How many are left? 3, Nixis replied, her voice fading. Maybe less by now. The virus spreads through quantum space itself. Anywhere FTL technology has been used, it follows. We thought quarantine might work, but it was too late. The virus had achieved quantum entanglement. Why now? Powell asked. Why did it activate after all this time? Nixis's crystalline form pulsed weakly. We believe it was waiting. Waiting for enough civilizations to achieve quantum technology. Waiting for a critical mass of potential hosts. It's not just a virus, it's a weapon. A weapon left behind by someone who wanted to ensure no other civilization would survive to claim the galaxy. The humans exchanged glances as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just achieved first contact, they'd inherited a galaxy-wide crisis and possibly the responsibility for preserving thousands of years of alien culture and knowledge. Ambassador, Dr. Hassan said gently, we'll do everything we can to help you. But we need to understand, why are humans immune? What makes us different? Nixis's form stabilized slightly under the containment field's influence. That's what you need to find out. Because whatever it is about your species that lets you survive this, it might be the only hope our civilizations have left. As if to emphasize her words, an alert sounded from the station's long-range sensors. More ships were arriving, hundreds of them, carrying more refugees from dying worlds. Earth was about to become the last sanctuary for galactic life, and time was running out to understand why. The human factor. Dr. Jun Nakamura had spent his entire career studying human genetic history, but he'd never seen anything like this. In the underground research facility beneath Tokyo, he watched as the holographic display showed human DNA literally destroying the alien virus. Play it again, he instructed the AI system, his eyes fixed on the molecular dance before him. Slower this time. Focus on the mitochondrial response. The simulation restarted, showing the virus approaching a human cell. The moment of contact was almost anticlimactic, the virus simply fell apart, its complex structure unraveling like a sweater caught on a nail. Dr. Nakamura, his research partner Dr. Aisha Khoury called from her station, you need to see these results from the archaeological samples. He moved to her station, where ancient human DNA samples from various historical periods were displayed. Each sample told the same story, humanity had been ready for this virus long before they knew it existed. Look at this, Aisha pointed to a particular sequence. This defensive mechanism, it's not just in modern humans. It's in every sample we've tested, going back over 200,000 years. Send this to Dr. Patel at Geneva immediately, June said, his mind racing with implications. And get me a secure line to the orbital station. Ambassador Nixis needs to see this. In the orbital station's medical bay, Ambassador Nixis's crystalline form had stabilized somewhat thanks to Earth's medical intervention, but time was still running out for many of the refugee species. The ambassador's multifaceted surface reflected the holographic data June was sharing. Impossible, Nixis resonated, her crystalline structure vibrating with surprise. Your species' genetic structure, it's like a library of viral defenses. Not impossible, June replied through the video link. Inevitable. Every major disease in human history, every pandemic, every virus that should have wiped us out, they all left their mark. We didn't just survive them, we incorporated them. Dr. Patel joined the conversation from Geneva, adding his expertise. It's not just that we're immune. Our cells actively destroy the virus. It's like our entire biology evolved specifically to counter this threat. But how? Colonel Powell asked, standing at the ambassador's containment field. How could we have evolved defenses against a virus we never encountered? That's the thing, June said, bringing up new data. We did encounter it. Or at least, something very similar. He highlighted a particular genetic sequence. This is going to sound crazy, but what if this virus isn't trying to kill us because, in a way, it's already part of us? The room fell silent as the implications sank in. It was Aisha who finally spoke up, her voice filled with wonder. The mitochondria, the powerhouses of our cells. They were originally bacteria that infected our cellular ancestors billions of years ago. But instead of killing us, they became part of us. And this virus, June continued, shares remarkable similarities with mitochondrial DNA. It's as if humanity's earliest ancestors survived a version of this same attack billions of years ago. Not only survived but turned it to our advantage. Ambassador Nixus's form pulsed with sudden understanding. Your entire species is built on incorporated viral and bacterial genetic material. You're not just immune, you're the end result of billions of years of biological warfare. Every pandemic that should have killed us, June explained, from the Black Death to the Spanish flu, they all contributed to our genetic defense library. Humanity isn't just surviving diseases, we're learning from them, incorporating their strengths, building an ever-growing arsenal of biological defenses. Dr. Hassan, who had been quietly monitoring the alien patients, suddenly straightened. Could we use this? Could we somehow transfer our immunity to other species? It's not that simple, June cautioned. Our immunity comes from billions of years of evolution, countless near-extinction events that we somehow survived. We can't just transfer that history. But, Aisha interjected, her eyes bright with inspiration, what if we could teach their biology our tricks? Not transfer our immunity directly, but use our cellular response as a template? The implications of her suggestion rippled through the room. If they could somehow adapt human biological defenses to work for other species, they might have a chance to save what remained of galactic civilization. How long? Ambassador Nixus asked, her usual melodic resonance carrying an edge of desperate hope. How long to develop such a treatment? June looked at the latest reports from the refugee ships still arriving in Earth's orbit. Thousands of beings from dozens of species, all carrying the same death sentence in their cells. I don't know, he admitted. But we have to try. Humanity spent billions of years learning to survive everything the universe threw at us. Now it's time to share those lessons. As if in response to his words, another alert sounded, more ships entering the solar system, more refugees seeking Earth's protection. Their planet had become the last hope for galactic civilization, all because of a quirk of evolution that had turned ancient infections into humanity's greatest strength. In his underground lab, June turned back to his work with renewed determination. They were no longer just scientists studying humanity's past, they were now responsible for ensuring there would be a future for all sapient life in the galaxy. The weight of that responsibility was enormous, but then again, humanity had always performed best when the odds seemed impossible. Race against extinction. Commander Adana Okafor stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Fleet's flagship, Resilience, watching as her crews prepared for humanity's first faster-than-light mission. The ship's quantum drives hummed with potential energy, but unlike the alien vessels now scattered across Earth's orbit, the Resilience carried something unique, hope. Final checks complete, her executive officer, Thomas Bennett, reported. Dr. Nakamura's team has loaded the last batch of treatment prototypes into the medical bay. Adana nodded, her expression grim. In the month since first contact, Earth had transformed into a sanctuary for dying civilizations. Now, they were ready to take the fight to the virus itself. "Status report from the refugee colonies," she asked, scanning the holographic displays surrounding her command station. "Stable for now," Thomas replied. "The containment fields are holding, and Dr. Hassan's team has managed to slow the virus's progression in most species. But we're running out of time." The door to the bridge slid open, admitting Dr. Patel and a partially recovered Ambassador Nixis. The ambassador's crystalline form still showed signs of damage, but the experimental treatments had at least halted her deterioration. "The coordinates are locked in," Nixis announced, her voice carrying both hope and urgency. "The Cephalon homeworld should be our first target. If we can save my people, their quantum computation abilities could help us develop treatments for others more quickly." "Understood," Adana replied, then turned to address her bridge crew. "This is what we've trained for. Earth has dreamed of reaching the stars for centuries. Now we're going, not for exploration or conquest, but because the galaxy needs us." The Resilience's quantum drive engaged, and for the first time in human history, a Earth-built vessel broke the light-speed barrier. The journey that would have taken alien ships weeks was completed in hours, thanks to modifications based on refugee ship data. But nothing could have prepared them for what they found. The Cephalon homeworld hung in space like a shattered diamond, its crystalline cities dark and lifeless. Billions of fractured crystalline forms drifted in orbit, each one a former person, now reduced to inert matter. "Life signs?" Adana demanded, fighting to keep her voice steady. "Scattered readings from underground facilities," Thomas reported. "Maybe a few thousand survivors, sealed in quantum stasis chambers." "Launch the treatment pods," Adana ordered. "All channels, broadcast the activation signal." Across the planet's surface, thousands of pods descended through the atmosphere, each carrying a modified version of humanity's viral defense mechanisms. Dr. Nakamura's team had worked miracles, finding ways to translate human cellular responses into forms other species could use. "Treatment pods deployed," Thomas announced. "First response data coming in, it's working. The survivors' degradation is stopping." But their victory was short-lived. New alerts blared across the bridge as more ships appeared in the system, refugee vessels from even further reaches of the galaxy, each carrying desperate survivors of once mighty civilizations. "Commander," one of her officers called out, "we're receiving distress calls from 17 different systems. All reporting critical population collapse." Adana turned to Dr. Patel. "How many treatment pods do we have left?" "Not enough," he admitted. "We need to produce more, but the process takes time." "Time we don't have," Nixis added, her form flickering with distress. "My people's quantum networks are detecting civilization collapses across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy." Adana studied the strategic display, watching as more red dots appeared, each representing another dying world. They couldn't save everyone, the galaxy was too vast, the virus too widespread. But they had to try. "New contact!" Thomas shouted. Massive energy signature at the edge of the system. The view screen shifted, showing something that defied description, a ship larger than anything they'd ever seen, its design unlike any known species. "That's impossible," Nixis whispered. That's ancient architecture. From before any of our civilizations existed." As they watched, the massive vessel began broadcasting on all frequencies. The message was simple, but chilling: "Test protocol complete. Analyzing results." "Test protocol?" Adana demanded, but Nixis was already radiating understanding and horror. "The virus," the ambassador explained, "it wasn't just a weapon. It was a test. Someone wanted to see which species would survive, which would prove worthy of inheriting the galaxy. And now they're back to check the results," Dr. Patel finished, his voice barely a whisper. Adana straightened in her command chair. Humanity's first mission to the stars had just become something far more complex than a rescue operation. They weren't just fighting a virus anymore, they were about to face the beings who had engineered it, who had set this whole test in motion millions of years ago. Battle stations, she ordered, even as she knew their weapons would be useless against such advanced technology. And get me a channel to Earth. They need to know what we've found. As her crew rushed to comply, Adana watched the ancient vessel grow larger on their screens. Humanity had proven itself immune to the virus, but now they faced an even greater challenge, proving to its creators that they deserved that immunity. Legacy of Evolution. Dr. Lucia Rodriguez stood at the podium in the newly constructed Galactic Council headquarters in Geneva, looking out over an audience that represented the incredible diversity of life that had survived the Great Viral Crisis. 1 year had passed since the ancient vessel's arrival, and the galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. The human immune response was never meant to be a weapon, she explained, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. It was meant to be a shield. And now, it has become a bridge. In the front row, Ambassador Nixus's fully restored crystalline form sparkled with approval. Beside her sat representatives from the 32 species that had survived thanks to humanity's intervention. Behind them, holographic attendees from recovering worlds across the galaxy watched with interest. When the ancients returned to evaluate their test, Lucia continued, they found something they never expected. Instead of a single surviving species claiming dominion over the galaxy, they found cooperation. They found humanity using their immunity not as a means of power, but as a tool for preservation. The central display activated, showing the modified viral defense treatments that had saved billions of lives. Each treatment was unique, adapted to work with different alien physiologies, but all were based on the same fundamental principle, the human genetic library of survival. The Ancients' test was designed to find a species worthy of inheriting their legacy, Lucia explained. They expected the survivors to be the strongest, the most aggressive, the most dominant. Instead, they found humanity, a species whose strength came not from conquest, but from adaptation. Not from destruction, but from incorporation. She gestured to Dr. Patel and Dr. Nakamura, seated among the Earth delegation. Our scientists discovered that humanity's greatest strength wasn't our immunity to the virus. It was our ability to learn from every challenge we faced, to take what should have destroyed us and make it part of our defense. The display shifted, showing the new Galactic Defense Network, a system of satellites and stations that could detect and neutralize viral threats before they could spread. The ancients didn't just leave us their technology, Lucia continued. They left us their responsibility. The virus wasn't just a test of survival, it was a test of worth. Could the surviving species be trusted with the power to protect life itself? Commander Okafor, now Admiral of the combined Earth Galactic Fleet, stood to address the assembly. We've established outposts in every major system, equipped with viral defense arrays. The treatments have been distributed to all surviving colonies, and new protocols are in place to protect developing civilizations. But our work is just beginning, Lucia added. The ancients showed us that the galaxy is more complex and dangerous than we imagined. There are more tests out there, more challenges waiting in the dark between stars. Our immunity was never meant to be a privilege, it was meant to be a responsibility. Ambassador Nixus floated to the podium, her crystalline form resonating with emotion. 1 year ago, my people were facing extinction. Now, we stand here as partners in a new galactic community. Humanity didn't just save us, they taught us a new way to survive. The display changed one final time, showing images from across the galaxy, rebuilt cities, restored worlds, and new colonies where multiple species work together. The virus was designed to find the strongest species, Lucia concluded. Instead, it revealed that true strength lies not in domination, but in cooperation. Not in resistance to change, but in the ability to learn and adapt. As she looked out over the assembled representatives, Lucia couldn't help but smile. Humanity had dreamed of reaching the stars, of finding their place in the cosmic community. They never imagined that their place would be defined not by their technology or their power, but by the accumulated wisdom of countless near extinctions, each one teaching them how to be stronger, how to survive. The ancients have passed their mantle to us, she said, not because we were immune to their test, but because we proved there was a better way. They sought a species worthy of protecting life in the galaxy. They found instead a species that understood that life itself is what makes us worthy. In the space above Earth, the ancient vessel remained in orbit, no longer a threat, but a reminder. A reminder that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their immunity to the virus, but in what that immunity represented: billions of years of survival, adaptation, and evolution, all leading to this moment. The galaxy was entering a new age, and humanity's legacy would not be that they survived the great test, but how they helped others survive it too. Their genetic memory of survival had become a gift to the stars themselves, a promise that life, in all its wonderful, diverse forms, would continue to thrive. As the assembly concluded and representatives from across the galaxy mingled, sharing stories and plans for the future, Lucia knew that this was just the beginning. The virus had been meant to end civilizations. Instead, it had united them. And in that unity, they had found something far more powerful than immunity: they had found hope.